What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the Friendly Paisan, and I am back with another Sports Weekly recap. We had so much go down this weekend. Even I attended a fight myself. UFC 281 at Madison Square Garden, as well as Dejí versus Mayweather, all in this video. Let's get right into it. So, I mean, let's just address the elephant in the room. Probably not the more sought-after card, but one that definitely had a lot of eyes and attention. Let's just start right off with Floyd Mayweather versus Dejí. Now, if we're going to start off with Floyd Mayweather versus Dejí, we need to address two things. Number one, we all knew Dejí was going to get clapped. We all knew that. It wasn't a surprise. I mean, yeah, I was saying Dejí, you know, in past videos, I was saying, yeah, Floyd Mayweather is really showing his age, which he is, but he really went out there and he clowned the shit out of Dejí. I mean, we all know the only person Dejí's really beat in the last 3 years is fucking Fuzi or Wolf or whatever the hell his name is. So we didn't really expect much, but what I will say is this: Floyd left with a black eye. So, I mean, yeah, it's the fight game. Dejí threw some punches, and I mean, the Olatunjis hit hard, man. JJ, aka KSI, and Dejí, they both hit really, really hard. But I'm not here to clown Dejí. I'm just here to talk about the event. Actually, Dejí, you did way better than any of us could. So if anybody's talking shit to you in comments or whatever, man, shout out to you for even having the balls and stones to get in there with one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time. But I mean, if we walk through it round by round, I mean, literally from the start, Floyd Mayweather was just completely clowning Dejí, dancing around the ring and bringing back out the disco and pumping the air and shit. And then the ring card girl, she just comes out and she's walking around, and Floyd, the whole fight, didn't even take a seat. Until maybe he didn't take a seat at all, actually, but you started in the third or fourth round, you could see he started getting a little frustrated. We'll get back to that later. But he literally took the card from the ring card girl and started parading it around in like the second round. It's just super funny and just super disrespectful. But I mean, listen, the fight was what it was. Floyd many times was just backing Dejí up onto the ropes, into the corner, throwing fake punches. He was literally just like throwing, and Dejí was just covering up, man, punches and bunches, but he wasn't really in there trying to hurt him until towards the end, where he just wanted the fight to end. And man, just to see that, I'm happy with the stoppage. I didn't want to see Dejí get flatlined by Floyd, even though he could have ended that fight at any time, but Floyd went out there and legitimately put on a show. Proud. So yes, I'm happy with the stoppage. I mean, if you ask the fighter, you know, they'll always say, just let me go out on my shield, let me go out on my sword. But for Dejí, I mean, he's young and Floyd is a tactical boxing wizard. And the stoppage was correct, man. I mean, Dejí was rattled enough. It was going to happen sooner or later anyway. So shout out to the referee, whoever it was, for protecting Dejí. Yeah, that about wraps it up for Floyd Mayweather versus Dejí. Those are my thoughts on it. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen next with Floyd. We do have some other news in the space. At the same time that bout was going on, the bout before that, Tommy Fury's got a 1-star rating on Boxing Rec. Holy shit. Did that not count? Did that fight not count? Oh, Raleigh Lambert. There we go. He fought Raleigh Lambert. So Tommy Fury fought Raleigh Lambert. It was a last-minute replacement from his previous opponent because Tommy fumbles, weighed in 8 pounds overweight, and his opponent wanted to be paid more, rightly fucking so, or 20% of his purse, rightly fucking so. But they just ended up scrapping it and getting an opponent. Now, that opponent that he fought was no joke. Homie came in ready to go. He was clearly training for someone, because to just call that fight with 12 hours notice and to get in there like that, he was in shape. So his opponent was definitely preparing for another fight as well. I mean, but what can you say about the fight? It was boring as shit. It wasn't entertaining at all. I mean, not that I wanted to see fireworks, but a little bit more than just leading behind the jab, maybe throwing punches and bunches, showing some combinations, some better head movement, none of which would really impress anyone. I don't really think that the Tommy Fury fight did anything. Jake Paul really saved that fight. His commentary the whole fight was hilarious. He was clowning him the whole time. Play a couple clips.
Amateur still. This is embarrassing. You have no.
And on top of clowning him the whole time, he literally pretended to fall asleep at the announcer's table because it was that boring. Now, Tommy Fury really isn't making a great case for setting up the third fight because he dropped out of the first two. He's not making a great case for the third one because, in my opinion, I think Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury. I haven't really seen anything great out of him. But that post-pandemonium of what happened after that fight is what is going to make this fight so incredible. Play the clip of Jake Paul, Tommy Fury going at it.
Do you want me to come now? 2. Jake, we got a mic.
Come on, pussy ass. Get out of here, cuz. Let's go. You fucking suck at fighting. Let's go. Pull up. Yeah, let's go, bro. Come here, all of you. Come to Papa.
Literally, in order to make the fight interesting, John Fury, Tommy and Tyson's dad, had to rip his shirt off and show the man boobies and run around and shadow box and scream at Jake Paul in order to make this fight interesting and something people wanted to watch. And to be honest with you, that was some of the greatest and funniest fucking promoting I think I've ever seen done in the lead up and build up to a fight. So shout out to the old man, John Fury, man, just getting right in there, taking the old shirt off, challenging Jake Paul to a fight. And then Tommy Fury coming out, doing the ropes, or the same thing, the hold me back, bro mentality. It was out in full force during the post-fight pandemonium of Tommy Fury's fight. And to be honest with you, I think they are going to make this fight, and I will be excited to watch it. And I do have Jake Paul, but there are other Jake Paul fights I really want to see instead, and I'm going to go into those right now. So, I mean, besides that, Jake Paul has a ton of fighting options. He has Andrew Tate, which they did a face-off, and then met ringside again, and we're talking shit to each other. So that fight, I think, is really interesting. Jake Paul and Andrew Tate, I mean, I think that would do more numbers than Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, just through the fact that Andrew Tate is the most Googled man on the planet right now. I just think a lot of people want to see Jake get knocked out, and a lot of people want to see Andrew Tate get knocked out. So that's why people will pay to see that fight. Everybody pretty much knows Tommy's last 3 fights were absolutely abysmal, and he pulled out of the Jake fight twice, so he's not trustworthy. So who knows if he'll even show up the third time due to whatever, visa issues, injuries, whatever it is. So the Andrew Tate fight is there, but there's also one crucial fight that I believe all fans want to see across the entire board, which is Jake Paul versus Nate motherfucking Diaz. I think that's the fight to make next. I don't care. Fuck all this other shit, the Tommy Fury, whatever. I want to see Nate Diaz get in the ring with Jake Paul. I think that's the next one. I'm not going to go into who wins that one or not, but that's the one, me personally, I want to see. But most likely what's next for Jake Paul is Tommy. All right, guys, and besides that, to end the Dejí Mayweather card, we had Tyron Woodley was at the event as well, trying to get KSI to sign the contract. And if you watch the clip after Dejí's fight, KSI just kind of standing there. You would think that the camera's on KSI, the camera's on Tyron Woodley. You think you would just stand up, you know, be like, yeah, I'm going to sign the contract. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But he didn't. Like, I'm very surprised at KSI, because the next fight that he has to make, in my opinion, is Tyron Woodley, because his main goal is Jake Paul. Your main goal is Jake Paul. You got to fight somebody that Jake fought and end them in a better fashion than Jake did in order to justify your reasoning for fighting him. But KSI, he's just kind of standing there and just talking, and Tyron's like begging him to come and like make some type of, cut some type of promo, do some type of something, get him to sign the contract, but he just doesn't. And I don't really know what's going through KSI's head, because he could have set up a ton. I mean, okay, I kind of do know what's going through KSI's head, but when it comes to Tyron Woodley, step up, cut the promo, make it happen. But to play devil's avocado, I understand that this was Dejí's moment, and KSI knowingly having 3 or 4 opponents that he could potentially face, Andrew Tate, Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul, and Tommy Fury. I think he wanted Dejí to have his moment against Floyd Mayweather, so I'll respect that if that's the reason. But if it's not the reason, it was the perfect time to cut your promo, bro. I don't know what you're doing. All right, guys, that's it for the influencer realm. We're done with that. We're moving on to UFC 281, motherfuckers. I was there, the Paisan, at the Garden, the Mecca, the greatest sports arena of all time, and it was one hell of a card. I sat through them all, and we'll go through some highlights now. So obviously, we're gonna start with Frankie Edgar, man, the legend, and I believe they talked about this in the last few videos. We all knew it was gonna happen. Frankie, I love you, New Jersey native. but you shouldn't have been fighting anymore. I mean, I know you wanted to go out on your shield, but man, you've eaten like 4 knees to the face in your last 4 fights and gotten knocked out cold. Chris Gutierrez, obviously this fight, I mean, he's a good fighter, but this really isn't telling for the future of his career. I mean, he went in there and he faced an old dog, man. He faced an old dog. Frankie Edgar, you're a warrior and you're an absolute unit. Thank you for all of your fights, your legendary fights, and I look forward and I hope to see you prospering in the future. Let's talk about Weili Zhang versus the paper champ, Carla Esparza. We all went in there knowing what Weili is capable of, and we all know what Carla's been capable of because she's been around the sport for forever. I had Weili Zhang by finish, and she went in there and did her motherfucking thing, and it was awesome. Congratulations, Weili, the new champion of the UFC's women's division. I'm really happy for her, man, because if it's not Thug Rose Namajunas, it should be Weili Zhang, and I'm super happy. Seeing these fighters fight in person like that, being my first UFC event ever, I've been following the sport since 2011, and to be able to see them live like that, man, was truly incredible. It just goes to show you how incredibly athletic they are, but also the mental fortitude that it takes to stand in the ring and to be able to fight people in front of thousands of people. Every movement they made, every takedown, every punch, every combination was oohed and awed, and the crowd would just erupt. So on top of me already knowing and feeling that MMA fighters are the best athletes in the world, going to an event live and seeing that and the ups and downs and seeing that live truly cemented that opinion for me. Now, I'm an ex-hockey player, and I always thought that hockey players were the best athletes in the world, which will meet some criticism. Oh, it's baseball, it's football. No, it's not. Shut the fuck up. Hockey is one of the hardest sports in the world. Anyway, MMA fighters are the best athletes in the world, and it's not even close. And guys, finally, with that card, the main event of the evening, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. This is their 3rd meetup, I believe, and Alex Pereira won all 3 of them. I did say in the build-up, there's a clip of me. There was these 3 dudes just interviewing people at the Garden. And if I find it, I'll clip it in this video. But they literally pulled me aside and they asked me, they were like, oh, what do you think is gonna happen in the fight? And I was like, Izzy's gonna get knocked out. And they were like, oh, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's not, it takes, think about it. Think about it for a second. It takes so much mental fortitude to get in the ring enough. Imagine getting in the ring for a third time with a guy who's knocked you out 2 other times, expecting a different result. Of course, there was gonna be some fucking mental barriers in Izzy's game. Now, was Izzy winning the fight up until that point? I'd say he was winning the fight, but it doesn't matter because he couldn't finish the deal. Alex Pereira sat down and his trainer said, you need to go out and finish the fight and you need to let your hands go. And guess what? He fucking did it. So, all love, Izzy, man. You're an awesome fighter and you've given us incredible moments, but I said Alex Pereira was gonna win by KO. He does it by KO. Congratulations to the new champ. I do think we see that fight again, though, because outside Bobby Knuckles, I don't really think anyone in the middleweight division can beat Izzy or Alex Pereira. So I think we see that fight again. So I'm really looking forward to it. And congratulations, Alex Pereira. Izzy, I know you'll bounce back. You're a great fighter. So probably the most exciting fight on the card, Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. It was an absolute slugfest. Dustin Poirier with the win, well-deserved, my dude. The Diamond coming in extremely hot, and Iron Mike Chandler literally giving another great performance. That guy really goes in there and just leaves it all out there. Dustin afterwards complaining a little bit that he was cheating, but it's really hard to not leak blood all over your opponent if you're laying on top of him and you're cut open. And don't put that in the video, that shit nasty. But yeah, dude, that was probably one of the more entertaining fights of the night. They absolutely left it all out there. The 155-pound division in MMA is one of the more exciting divisions in MMA, in the UFC especially. So you two, incredible fight. I think Michael Chandler goes on to fight Conor McGregor, and I think Dustin Poirier makes another run for the title against Islam Makhachev after Volk. Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev is confirmed. We'll get into that later. But that is confirmed. But I think Dustin Poirier makes another run for the title. I think Iron Mike Chandler gets his shot against Conor McGregor. And yeah, and we'll see if that happens. But those are two great fights. And to round up MMA, it's an entirety. I just mentioned before, Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev is confirmed for Australia, baby. Let's go. I'm super excited for this fight. I know it's going to be really entertaining. I think Alexander Volkanovski is going to be the most skilled guy that has ever fought Islam Makhachev. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. They are going up to fight for the 155-pound belt. We'll see how that works. Early predictions, I got Islam, but you cannot count out Volkanovski at all. Once that fight gets, closer in date, I'll do a more in-depth separate video for that as well. But yeah, that literally Alexander Volkanovski was signing autographs at MSG, left early to go sign that contract, which is really cool. All right, guys, and that pretty much does it for the fight news. Now we are going to move on to football, and we only have a couple things to talk about here. But the main point I wanted to stress right now is Tom Brady is 2-0 since his divorce from Giselle, baby. Claps. Claps all around. You fucking absolute unit. And this isn't even sports news, but I'm seeing all over TMZ that Giselle is out here getting her cheeks clapped by her Brazilian jiu-jitsu trainer who she's been training with for the last year. So don't fucking lie, Giselle. This isn't about football. You've been looking for an escape and you try to ruin homie's life. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but it's just crazy how the divorce is finalized and he goes wins 2 football games and his demeanor on the field is completely changed. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with their situation at home, but if you ask me as a person on the outside looking in, Tom looks much happier on the football field. He's smiling, he's screaming, he's excited, and Giselle's just out here on vacation and getting her cheeks clapped. Women. Shit, I'm gonna catch backlash for that one. Yeah, the Cowboys lost to the Packers in overtime. Can we just all finally admit that Cooper Rush needs to be the starting quarterback and not Dak Prescott? The offense, in and of it itself, works better with Cooper Rush at the helm of the offense. Yes, Dak Prescott throws for crazy numbers, 5, 6 touchdowns, 400 yards, but it doesn't translate to winning football games. So maybe Cooper Rush needs to be the starters, Cowboys fans. And I'll see you go, oh, you're crazy. I don't know, man. They looked a lot better with Cooper Rush than they did with Dak Prescott. And the Packers suck. The Packers are ass, and they lost in overtime. They lost in overtime to the Packers. It's frustrating. Of course it is. Go back to Cooper Rush, have Dak sit the bench, and see what happens. All right, guys, and I think that will do it for the sports section. Mostly fights and NFL stuff. Nothing really, like I said in the last few videos on the NHL front. Baseball is over. Basketball is also in the same kind of loop that the NHL is in. Not really much to discuss other than Joel Embiid's 59-point career high game, which I don't really want to cover Philadelphia teams because I hate them all. So I will not be doing that, but congrats to Joel Embiid, putting my hatred for the Philadelphia fan base aside. But yeah, guys, that once that midway point of the season for the NHL and the NBA starts to kick off is when we'll get into more news regarding that. But I think we'll end it here, and I just think we'll get into our bozos of the week. So guys, our bozos of the week, our recurring guest, Ben motherfucking Simmons. You should be in the Chinese or the Australian league by now, buddy. Joel Embiid in that one game scored more points in that one game than you have in the entire NBA season this year. It is a complete joke that you're getting paid the amount of money you are being paid. And you really just need to not be in this league anymore. And I will continue to say it until it actually happens. As for our next bozo of the week, we got Man Titty Johnny Fury, baby. Johnny Fury coming in, whipping the shirt off, screaming at Jake Paul, looking like an absolute bozo and clown. Everyone, oh, Jake was scared, Jake was scared. No, he wasn't. He's not scared. Jake wasn't scared. Stop being stupid. He knows they're gonna make millions of dollars actually fighting, and if he goes in there and he could ruin the whole thing. You're all being stupid. John Fury, you look like a bozo. You look dumb. You took your shirt off in front of thousands of people, and you're not even in shape. So you're a bozo. Oh, I mean, this isn't sports news, but FTX, the CEO of FTX went bankrupt and took $600 million to Australia and wiped 80% of people's net worths. So that guy's a fucking bozo. Not really for sports, but fuck him. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for me. Those are your bozos of the week. That is your sports weekly recap for the week. Weekly recap for the week. You try fucking saying that 3 times fast. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.